Okay, so we're going to talk about SEO, right, which stands for search engine optimization. And basically, most sites need to be able to be found in a search engine. And this is oftentimes where it's like what I'm actually talking about with you today could possibly change tomorrow. But these are some of the basic key elements that you have to realize within SEO. And it used to be very, very easy to do this stuff 20 years ago, but it's not so much nowadays. So, but basically, what the whole concept of what I'm doing right now is very basics. It's a basic foundation of what SEO is all about and things that you have to think about when you're dealing with certain sites. So basically, it revolves around getting discovered. There are three primary ways a user finds a specific site: either address in a URL bar of browser, browsing through links and advertisements, and searching a topic in search engines. Now, I could also add like a fourth one into this, is like finding social media as possible getting discovered as well. So it's like any one of these types of things that you could possibly add into kind of like getting your entity out there is basically a way of trying to get discovered. So there are certain types of search engines. There's a crawler base, which is find sites using spiders to crawl the web and index content, like Google and Bing and all those different search engines out there that go out periodically and trying to find sites and looking for certain things within the sites that are going to register into their database, so to make it easier for somebody to find those types of things. That's where sites, when it's brand new, it's not going to be found right away in a search engine because it's taking time for the crawlers to get to that site to register that type of thing. All right, there are certain directories like rely on volunteer editors to evaluate sites for a specific topic and determine whether they should be listed in a directory. Now, I list this one, but in many cases, like for instance, for me, it's like I have my website registered with several like wedding types of directories or associations that deal with photography. It's like my names are associated with those directories, which again can kind of like add to finding my site. So one of the things that kind of helps a site being noticed is when the crawlers kind of like notice that you are doing backlinks to different websites, primarily directories. That means it's maybe more important. It's forming an important role in that directory and that topic that's being trying to be found. So it'll bump you up higher in the list. All right, there's black hat versus white hat type of things, which are methods of tricking or not tricking the search engines. And you want to avoid doing any kind of black hat methods. And what black hat methods are is basically trying to overwhelm a page with an amount of keywords, whether it's hidden, whether it's in the copy several times. It can act like it's trying to trick the search engine. And in that case, it would put you in a blacklist. So black hat is not a way to get in the search engine. So there are methods to do that. Primarily keywords. All right, keywords are essential, but you don't want to overdo the amount of keywords on a page. All right, specific terms that relate directly to the content of the site that people might use in their search. So if you're looking for, like, let's say, thinking about how somebody is going to be searching for something. If you put in a search for something, you're oftentimes not going to just put in one word. So it's like, let's say I'm trying to find a specific like fedora hat, that men's fedora hat or something like that. So it's like you would put a search for maybe like men's fedora hat, brown, black, whatever you're looking for, to be more specific. So it's like those particular keywords that if those exact string of keywords comes up on your site, you have more of a chance of actually being brought up to the top in the search engines because of those keywords. So if I just use a keyword saying hat, well, that's too general of a term where it's like hat. There's several sites out there that have the word hat in it, and it's not specific to what you're looking for. So keywords can kind of like help to keywords or key phrases can help to bring your site up if you know specifically what you're trying to do in your site. So designing for spiders, which is employing keywords on a site in a way that provides the most value for search engines. Pretty much what I've just said is putting in specific sets of phrases or keywords that are going to relate to what is going to be documented as important type of things with what the search engine is possibly looking for. There are internal SEO factors, which is setting up internal website strategies. This can start with the domain name. When that refers to, when I say internal SEO factors, this relates to things that you put onto your site. So, like a domain name, all right? You pretty much want to use a domain name that possibly has a certain keyword in it that you might use. Like if it's like I'm dealing with photography, well, what kind of photography am I doing? You may actually put in like, I do boudoir, so it's like I do boudoirphotography.com. Something like that actually has a keyword in the domain name, and that can be registered within the search engines. You can also look for certain things like links on your page or images, and images usually should have an alternative tag on them to allow for screen readers to kind of like tell somebody who could say it's like looking for a picture. You say, instead of saying picture, maybe use this opportunity to possibly use a keyword like maybe it's a picture of a brown fedora hat. You could use the image name as being like brown dash fedora dash hat, and basically use that as an alternative, or that's the file name, or you could possibly put an alternative text picture of brown fedora hat. So things that you could set up on the site, anytime you could possibly put in a keyword, you can, but again, don't overdo it. Like if you put in brown fedora hat 10 times in the content of the page, you're going to be listed as a black hat type of register. There's external SEO factors, which are rankings based on site popularity, inbound links, social media, etc. External SEO factors refer to like if you register within directories, if you put your website onto social media that somebody can link to, if there's an article about your business or whatever business it is, put a link to the website, and you'll see that anytime that there's these backlinks that go back to your website, that gains in popularity, and Google may register as more higher onto the search engine. So looking for as popular, that's external SEO factors. And then there's often paid searches, which this involve like some marketing and strategy to, well, a lot of times some of the search engines like Google have these things that are sponsored. And when they say sponsored or they're on the side, typically those are paid for. And it, depending on your budget, you can either fall into line with certain keywords that are coming up. Now, it still looks for you. It still ranks your site. If it's looking for a brown fedora hat and you sell boots, right? And somebody's looking for a brown fedora hat, even though you paid for it, you're probably still going to come up. You're not going to come up if somebody's looking for boots. You're going to come up when somebody looks for brown fedora hat. Okay, it's still the same thing. It just gets you higher on the list if what they're searching for is for you. So, all right. Well, I'm going to stop right there. Just knowing that SEO is just a way of figuring out how can I get my site to kind of like show up on search engines. All right. And again, these things change on a daily basis. And what I talk about now may change tomorrow, for all we know. So, all right. So I'm going to stop right there, and I'll see you in the next video.